Hello, welcome to Table Talk. My name is Jason. This is Model Kit Stuff. Roll titles. Yep, it's Table Talk Day yet again. They come round very quickly, I think. Anyway, it is Saturday. We're nearly at the end of April. We've got some bits and pieces to talk about, which is good, including some modelling stuff. Woohoo! So yeah, generally quite a bit to get through. So let's start with you guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's nice to see you as always. And if you're a new subscriber, a big thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're going to enjoy your stay. And what we do in this video is we basically talk about what's gone on in the week just gone, not just on the channel, but other things that may have happened. It gives you a bit of a view into what's going on here in, I can safely say, sunny Lancashire today. Here in the UK, and then we talk about what's coming up in the week ahead up until the next Table Talk, which always goes out now on a Saturday. We've moved the days around a little bit. So if you're new to the channel, we have moved some things around, so you need to keep in contact with this weekly video to find out what's happening, when, why, and so on. It's the best way of keeping up with what's coming and making sure you don't miss anything. So, without further ado, what happened in the week that's just gone? So on Monday, we kicked off the week with a Wingnut Wings review, and that sort of set the tone for the weeks, as we had a Wingnut Wings build on Wednesday as well. There was a lot of people talking about the kit, many of you telling me that you had the kit. Some of you saying, yeah, it looks like a great kit and what have you, and a lot of people sharing their sorrow that Wingnut Wings is no more, and I think we can all feel that. But yeah, it's an absolutely stunning kit. Nothing to say, but it's quite enjoyable just to thumb through it and see what's in there and what's in store for me at some point when I will definitely build it on the channel so you can see it, just like we're doing with the Gota, which is what came out on Wednesday, which was episode 5, wasn't it? Yeah. So as far as you guys are concerned, you're still inside the cockpit, whereas I'm just about to put the fuselage halves together, and then it'll come together relatively quickly for a bit, because other than the 2 engines, the rest of it is wings and tail and a couple of floats. So the actual part count isn't that high. In fact, I think the part count in the Gota is definitely, I'd say, half as much as in the kit we reviewed on Monday. The part count isn't high at all, but the model is going to be huge when it's done, and there's a lot of rigging to do on it, which I'm looking forward to. So there's tons to do on the Gota, and those videos are getting a lot of love, which is nice to see. Some of you say, well, I've got this in the stash, so this is nice to understand how you've gone about it, and other people saying, oh, you know, I might think about getting that. Generally, it tends to be one of the cheaper Wingnut Wing kits to get hold of these days, strangely. But yeah. Anyway, I managed to get hold of my Gota before the prices got silly, and I now have 3 Wingnut Wings kits. You have another First Impressions Wingnut Wings coming along, and you've also got a comparison video coming along. I'm still not quite sure when that's coming out. It's not next week, that's for sure. It's all been recorded, and I'm part way through editing it, but I haven't had time to finish all the editing for the comparison video, but it'll be out soon enough, so if you don't want to miss it, make sure you hit the bell. Now, I'm saying that I don't usually talk about subscribing and hitting the bell and sharing it and thumbs up and all that sort of stuff. I leave it to you. All of those things do help the channel, but a number of people have been saying to me that they are not getting notifications. So every now and then YouTube seems to have a wobble and people drop off the notifications list for some reason. It's not in my control. It's certainly not anything I'm doing. But yeah, definitely some people have said to me they've not been seeing the notifications. And I'm not sure whether that is because they're looking out for them on certain days, because I've changed my days and my builds now go out on a Wednesday rather than a Friday or a Saturday. So I'm not sure if it's that. There's certainly one or two people who used to be regularly on my videos who are not there, and that's possibly because they can't get there midweek or what have you. But the change has been made because it's giving me a bit more modelling time, and it just works for me. And I'm no doubt that we'll build up those numbers a little bit as we go along, and we're seeing one or two new faces as well, which is also lovely. So we're going to stick with Wednesdays for now. That's working. So let's think, what is coming up next week? Right then, no, I'm joking. Of course I know what's coming up next week. On Monday, we have a product, or a selection of products in a selection box. So we're doing a look inside a MIG ammo solution box, which has a whole selection of different products in it. So we'll be taking a look at that, see what's in the box, and talking about that. And it's sort of go-to related. So look out for that on Monday. And then on Wednesday, all being well, because I haven't quite finished editing it yet, but I've got plenty of time, will be the first part of the fire truck, which is what you can see there, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So we'll have the first fire truck build. Now I'm expecting it to be a 2-video series. We're not going into great detail on it, but yeah, that's sort of the plan. And then on Thursday we've got an extra video, because Thursday is the 4th of May, and as I said last week, I have something special lined up. It's now loaded up. It took me ages and ages and ages to do it. It's my first ever attempt at stop motion, and I don't think it's come out too bad, to be honest. But the thing with when you edit a video into stop motion, what you're doing is you're taking a lot of photographs, and there was something like 400 or 500 photographs, putting it in the edit suite, and every single one of those photographs needed to be edited time-wise, cut down, compressed, to make the stop motion work. And it took hours. So don't be asking me to do it all the time, because it took absolute hours. And it was something like 2 hours of build footage compresses into about a 9 or 10 minute video, honestly. So 4th of May, so I'll let you work out what that could be. I will give you a clue, because someone suggested it might be something last week. I know they were joking, but just for clarity, it won't be Doctor Who related. So yeah, 3 videos in plan for next week, so all of that should be okay, because we are nearly there. So that's sort of the plan for next week. Let's have a look at what we've done with the fire truck. So this is my group build entry, and we'll talk about the commercial vehicle group build separately. This is where I've got to with the fire truck. So the fire truck comes with a trailer, which is this little box you can see in the back here, and basically that's ready for assembly and fit out of the final components, which have all been given a prime, and they're pretty much all gloss black. So we can paint, build them all up, paint them up, and then give the whole thing a gloss clear coat, and we should be good. Now this is already gloss, and I'm really pleased with the coverage I've got. Put it in the light, you might see it better. It's a really nice fire red. I'll show you the fire engine, and that is Humbrol 19 red enamel, which is gloss red enamel airbrushed on. So basically one coat, then one coat on there, by which time this was dry enough for a second coat, and then a second coat on there. So 2 coats, airbrushed on, Humbrol 19, semi-gloss red enamel, and I have got a stunning finish. I am really, really happy with it. It's my best automotive finish that I've achieved so far. All we've got to do with that is the same, put the fittings on. Again, most of them are black, a little bit of detail painting. I've got some blue lamps to do, which I'm using a particular paint for, and the headlamps, and then that can all be clear coated as well. The roof will end up being this grey, but I've got a final coat to put on. Just got to mask off the red and do a final coat on that, and then put the black on and what have you, and then we can take the masking off, decals on, job's a good one. So I intend to finish that this weekend, so it will be finished before my end of April group build finishing date. Hopefully it should be, and then the videos will go out just after. Now that wasn't the intention, obviously. The intention was to put the first video out sort of early April actually, and then have the second video come out at the end of April. But we took a 3-week break, as you know, for health reasons, and as a result of that, I'm just a little bit behind where I intended to be. It's no sweat, is it? The trailer's done, trailer's painted black as well, the trailer bottom, so that will all fit together. I did notice though, in the process of building up the front end, that I'd put the running boards on the wrong side. So the running boards were catching on the point where you add the hose, and then it dawned on me that I'd put them on the wrong side, so I had to take them off, which involved breaking all the little plastic stanchions. So I've had to make some out of copper wire, and then so we've done that on both of them. So you'll get to see that probably in the second video, I think. So they just need to be glued on. But if you're making this by any chance, don't do what the instructions say and add these on before you build everything on, because it's too delicate, and they keep getting in the way. So put them on at the end like I'm doing, and also don't put them on the wrong way around is a tip for you. Other than that, it's gone together really nicely, fits really good. Only really issue I've had was with the radiator, and I think that might be me. But yeah, it's looking good, and should look nice when it's done. I haven't had time to do any weathering or anything like that with it, so it'll be a standalone display piece when it's done. And then if in the future I decide I want to shove it in a diorama or something, we can always come back to it and weather it up. Then it is weathered on the inside, so I can do that at some point, and it'll look fine. But these would have been well-maintained machines, so it not being weathered on the outside particularly is in keeping with an in-service fire engine, I would recommend. So in other news, I had my eye test on Monday. So you typically do it every 2 years, as you should. It's important for me because my grandfather had macular degeneration, so I need to capture that early. Not that there's a lot they can do about it, I don't think, at this moment in time. But also my eyes are really, really important, because this hobby goes nowhere if you can't see. And I'm getting new glasses. I knew my eyes had deteriorated, and actually my biggest problem has been driving, because these are reading glasses, and I've had them about 4 years. But I've now got to the point where I need my reading glasses to see the dials in my car. Now, I changed car end of January, and I had a Toyota Prius, and all the dials was set back on the dashboard and then in the middle, and so they were a bit further away than a traditional car layout, and I had a heads-up display on the windscreen, so for things like speed and stuff like that, it was all at distance, so I could happily drive without glasses on because I don't need glasses for distance. Then I now have a Toyota Corolla, so slightly smaller car, but effectively does the same thing. Not quite as fuel efficient, but only a fraction in it, to be honest. It does everything I want to do, but it's slightly smaller. I don't need the size of car now because the kids aren't with me as much when we go on holidays and go out, and I certainly don't need a pram and all that sort of stuff. So I downsized a little bit, but everything that was in the Prius is now in the Corolla, and things like the sat nav works better and things like that. So it's been a good upgrade, but the dials are that much closer because they're behind the steering wheel in the traditional format, and I can't see them unless I've got my spectaculars on. So I'm now driving with these perched on the end of my nose, so I can look over them and see through the window and look down and see through there. So I've gone for some varifocals. Never had them before, so that will be interesting. But the other thing that's a pain when you start having to wear glasses is sunglasses. So you know you've got your sunglasses on because and then you need to read something, so you've got to take them off and get your glasses out and messing around, and that's a pain. And I wear my sunglasses a lot when driving, and because I've got this family history of macular degeneration, it's important that I shade my eyes from the sun, which is why I wear a sun hat, give me a nice wide brim. But it's difficult if I need reading glasses to see what I'm doing in the car and it's sunny. So I've also got reactor lights, so cost me an arm and a leg. I mean, I could get a couple of really nice kits for the price of that, but my eyes are important at the end of the day. So it wasn't a bad deal. I work in procurement, so by the time we'd had a chat about it, I was happy. So I've got new glasses coming a week on Monday, so that's the 2nd May bank holiday for those of us in the UK. Specsavers is open till 4 o'clock on bank holidays, just in case you need them. So I'm going to go and pick my glasses up then. So you'll be seeing me in new glasses. I'm changing colour, and because the varifocals, they're a bit deeper than these ones. Yeah, all new glasses. So if my modelling looks shoddy for the next month, it's because I'm getting used to varifocals. Okay, but I also discovered a little bit of cataracts for the first time in this eye. So there's nothing we can do about it at this stage because it's just very, very early stages of it. So that's something to keep an eye on. Anyway, so there we go. That's the health stuff. Nothing else to report on the health stuff. So yeah, that's really what's been happening this week. The garden's looking a bit different though. Want to have a look? Come on then. Right then, in the garden we have leeks now. They don't look much like leeks at the moment, but I'm pretty hopeful that they'll turn into leeks at some point. So yeah, we've got leeks in there at the moment. That little bit's still empty. We've got some stuff to go in there later on. In the herbs, one of my garlics is gone, but this one is doing fine, so happy with that. And I've got some nice thyme there that's looking good. My strawberries, again, we've got one that's perished, but the rest are doing okay. But this doesn't get any natural water. Those 2 troughs at the bottom, I've got to actually water them because even when it rains, it doesn't get anything. So I think that's why we lost that. Up here, my rosemary that I planted is doing well, it's looking good. My spring onions that are several years old now are just seeding, they're about to flower. So we've got some nice fresh growth on there. That means they're happy. Not sure about this sage though. It appears to have new growth, but it's seemingly on just one side, so this side looks decidedly dead, but I'm not 100% sure, so I've been toying with whether I'm just pruning that back or not, but yeah, maybe we'll have a look at that this weekend. My main strawberry plant, this is the one I take all my runners off and plant new ones from, so I'd not bothered whether that produces strawberries or not, but that's looking good and strong this year, so that's all good. Here I've got spring onions, which are planted and dispersed. That one didn't look very well in. Dispersed amongst all this, which is spinach, which is looking nice and healthy. And then I've got, this is my homegrown tomato plant, and this is one that I bought from a nursery. So we'll see how they go, and that's pretty much it. My rhubarb is looking good. We're not far off a rhubarb crumble there, I don't think. And the magnolia's open, and doesn't it look splendid? Gooseberries definitely got some flowers, so that's good. We'll have to net that soon, I think. The rest of the garden's coming to life. So my hosta there. So pretty much everything you see in this garden was just a mud patch when I moved in. So I've put all of this in, other than the oak tree there, obviously. So all of this is what I've done, but there's three plants here that are quite special, really. So at the back here, this black bamboo I planted in memory of my grandfather when he passed away with COVID. So yeah, so that's a memorial plant, as is this little yellow one at the front here, which is on the site where the ashes are of our last dog, Archie. And then this is Solomon's seal. I love Solomon's seal, but this comes from the family home. So my great uncle Ben, my grandfather's brother, was growing this in the back garden of our family cottage, and he gave some to Dad. Dad put it in his garden. I took some cuttings, and I've had it in every garden I've had since. So that comes from the family home down in Sussex, where we originate from. It's no longer in the family, unfortunately, but yeah, that's come all the way from Rudgwick, where we originate from. And yeah, we've got some bluebells and another hosta coming through there. But yeah, all looking good, and my alliums are shooting up, so yeah, should be nice. Now, for those of us that like our aeroplanes, you might like this. These first little shoots here is a grass, and when it first starts growing, it's mainly green. It has that little red tinge on the edges. As it gets taller, it looks more and more like flames, and it's called Red Baron. And there you go. Right, that's the garden done. Yeah, garden's looking all right. It's all coming along fine. So I think the only thing I've got left to plant in there is dwarf French beans, which is what that little space is for. And then we'll just see what happens this year, and take a view again for next year, what went well, what didn't. But yeah, first time I've grown vegetables in a long time. Last time I did it, I was probably in my early 30s, late 20s maybe. So yeah, we'll just muddle through. Anyway, other news going on in the background in model kit stuff. If we started planning the 1 to 200 Scharnhorst build. So I found that the instructions had been uploaded onto ScaleMate, so I didn't have to go in the attic rummaging for it, because it's buried at the bottom of the stash ship stash anyway. So I have 3 stash piles. I have aircraft, I have ship, and I have wooden ships stroke everything else, all in 3 separate piles. It was just going to be a real pain to dig that out, which I'm going to have to do at some point anyway, but we'll perhaps talk about that in a minute. So I've managed to get the digital download, so I've started planning. So when you're doing a huge build like that, the planning is really, really important, and it's also quite long-winded. So especially as I won't build it in the running sequence that Trumpeter will tell you to. I need to resequence the instructions, identify what upgrade parts are being used in each one of those sections, cross-reference them with the numbers in the upgrade set so that I've got all of those parts listed as well, all on a spreadsheet, so I can go to step 1 and know these are the plastic parts from Trumpeter I need, these are the parts that I need from the upgrade set, pull them all together, work through it. Right, my step 2, right, I'm going to step 49 and these are the parts I need, and so on and so on. And to do that, it takes a fair amount of time, because I'm also probably going to add in scratch building and all that sort of stuff. So I need to get my anatomy of the ship down and refresh my memory on what I need to correct, and so on and so forth. There are corrections needed. And one of the things I've been thinking about is what I'm going to do with the hull. At the very, very, very least, everybody building that model should be filling all the scuttles on the starboard side and re-drilling them, and most of the scuttles on the port side and re-drilling them. That's the very, very least. But the hull shape underneath is wrong, the propeller shaft bulges wrong, the bow tip as it meets the deck with the hose pipe wrong, and it's missing the sea chests and it's missing the sonar array. I'm not going to do all of that. As I've been thinking about it, I think I'm going to try and correct the bow shape at the front, because they sort of round it off when it has a very definite point. And I think I'm also going to put the sonar array on. I like the idea of adding the pitot tube that extends from the front of the nose, which will be one of the last things we put in. We'll drill a hole, get a pipe ready, make it all up, but I ain't going to glue it in until the end because it's going to stick out. I've also got to think about the base, because we'll be putting that on fairly early on. So there's quite a lot to do, a lot to think about. So I think I know what I'm going to do with the base, which means that I sort of know what I'm going to end up doing, what I need to get in the way of raw materials. Yeah, I've sort of got a plan in my head. I just need to get it on the spreadsheet. So that's going on. So when I'm not actually at the desk and I'm watching something with my good lady on the telly, I'm actually doing something else. You know what I mean. Anyway, that's what's happening with the Scharnhorst. Now, commercial group build. Commercial group build formally closes on Sunday, tomorrow, 30th. Some of you have already sent me in some photos, some splendid builds. Thank you very much. If you haven't, please do so. modelkitstuff@gmail.com. Send me an email with a handful of photographs on. And if you're a channel, make sure you've got your channel name on there, or you tell me if you want your personal name or your channel name displayed on it, and we'll do it just like I did for New Year when we did the subscriber showcase, which was really successful, I think. And we'll put some tunes on. We'll show show the pictures and put your name up, and it'd be helpful if you told me what the model was. So we might do a little introduction pane, so we've not got writing across your pictures. Introduction pane, then pictures, I think, is how I'll end up formatting it, which was my takeaway from last year. So yeah, take some photographs. They don't need to be beautiful, but if you've got the equipment, make them beautiful. And if you haven't, you know what, take some photographs with your phone. Really doesn't matter. Let's get them up there, share them with the rest of the model kit stuff community, and yeah, that'll be really nice. I know plenty of people have got involved, some people without channels, and now's your opportunity to get something up on YouTube and let other people see what you do. So when people are talking to you in the chat, in the comments below videos and things, people know who you are and what you do. It's a great opportunity. So please don't be shy about sharing your photographs. We'd love to put them in there. So and we'll probably put mine and Rob's in as well for good measure. But yeah, I'm really grateful for everyone who's participated in the commercial vehicle group build. It's got some people building something that they perhaps don't usually do, or given them an excuse to get something out of the stash that they've been sat there waiting for someone to say, come and build me. So it's been really good fun. I've enjoyed watching people's builds. There's been a really eclectic mix of models coming out, which has been good to see. And one or two models that I've sort of and ahed about, and I've seen them, I thought, actually, you can turn that into something good. So yeah, there's a lovely taxi done by George, for example, and he did some videos on it and stuff, which was really nice. But yeah, we'll get all those videos up, and what I'll say is I'll give you a couple of weeks to get that together, and then by the back end of May, that video will come out, and that's given everyone plenty of time to get the photos to me. So if you haven't quite finished, if like me, you're a bit behind the 8 ball on getting it done on time, don't worry about it. I'll give you a bit of time to get the photos in, and I'll tell you in a table talk when it's closed, and I don't want any more submissions. So yeah, please send me your photos. And I think that pretty much wraps it up for this week on the Table Talk. Once this is finished, I am not starting anything new. I'm carrying on with the Gotha, and the time that's been focused on this is going back into the Queen Mary 2, which we need to get finished. I've not resolved the issue with my helicopter pad decal, which is annoying me no end. But I'm going to have to just ignore it, carry on building, and we'll put that down to experience. I might end up lifting it off because it does spoil the effect. But anyway, we're going to carry on with that and start chugging through the Queen Mary 2. I'm slowly catching up with my emails and bits and pieces. So if you have sent me an email recently and you haven't had a response, unless of course you're sending me something stupid and say, respectfully, love your work, but will you stop saying, you people, you don't get a response, clearly. But everybody else, I will respond to you. If you sent me something 3 or 4 weeks ago and I've not responded, maybe send it again, because my model kit stuff email gets bombarded, because every time someone puts a comment on a video or likes a comment on a video, I get an email. So I get quite a lot of emails in a day, and sometimes I can miss them. So if I've not answered, resend if it's been several weeks. But I'm probably a couple of weeks behind, and I'm trudging through them and catching up. I have seen that some of them have come through for the commercial vehicle builds, like I say, so I will respond to you and say thank you and so on. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're up to for now. So finally, a big thank you to everyone for subscribing. It really helps the channel, and it's starting to fund some things that we can do here. Oh no, there was something else I wanted to talk about before we go to there. So but yeah, thank you for subscribing. It's really, really appreciated. I've had some lovely comments, feedback and well wishes including one particular gentleman who we'll talk about next week in more detail, who's been very, very generous and has definitely contributed to me feeling better and proven that despite the fact that I get some people who are less than nice and maybe don't even realise it, but they're being proper horrid, there are some really lovely, decent people in the world, and this gentleman is definitely one of them, and we will talk about him next week. But for now, thank you very much for subscribing. Please, if you've enjoyed the videos, hit the like button. It helps the algorithm, which helps the channel, and it helps keep the channel free, because as long as you guys are liking the videos, hitting the like, making a comment, then more people are seeing the adverts, more people see my video, more people see the adverts. That then builds up the revenue. That revenue is now what funds my hobby. With everything going on in the world and prices going up and my mortgage going up and food prices going through the roof, then it's really helpful, because my modelling budget is one of the first things that we'd axe, and I've actually axed it totally, and I'm completely self-funded from the channel, and my income dropped a little bit with me not putting out some videos for 2 or 3 weeks. So you guys hitting the likes and making the comments will help me recover that a little bit, and that means we can buy some more model kits. Now, talking about revenue and model kits, the last thing I want to say is over the next couple of weeks at the weekend, I'm going to be going through my stash with a view to thinning it out a little bit. Partly the reason for choosing the Scharnhorst to build next after the Queen Mary 2 is it's a massive box and it's a good one to get out of the way. It's not my largest box by any stretch. I think that is probably the 1200 Yamato, but also my Dean's Marine St. Olaf is a whopping box as well. So I've got, and I've got the hood. So I've got quite a few large boxed kits in there. But then I've got lots and lots of aircraft. I pretty much bought everything that Airfix released in the way of aircraft on the prior 2 years. So I need to thin it out. I don't need so many Spitfires and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pile them all up, and then we're going to have a little bit of an auction for the channel is my thoughts. So we will be putting them up on here. I'll be saying these are what I've got. I will put a reserve price in and say, right, this is my reserve price. There'll be some, but they'll all be bargains, and that'll generate some money so that I can buy some new release kits as they come out, and it'll also create some space, so I'll have somewhere to put some of those new release kits. So right now I am not buying anything. I did some pre-orders in January of the Airfix stuff, and that's the only thing that I've pretty much been buying. So you know, there's a new TACOM helicopter come out that I'd like. Got no space for it, so we're going to thin it out a little bit. Probably going to make some hard decisions. Just for clarity, there won't be any Wingnut Wings in there. I'll be keeping those. But there's quite a bit of stuff that we'll be saying, right, actually don't want this, and they're all in good condition. And what we'll do is we'll list them all up, and if you've got an interest, you can send me an email, and I'm not quite sure how we'll work it, but we'll do some form of auction, and highest bidder will win, and that money will go back into this channel. And then what we might do is go to you and say, right, okay, what kit would you like to see me build? And then that money will be able to go on buy that kit, and we can put it in the stash and plan to build it. So that's what I'm thinking. It gets you guys a little bit more involved in the channel if you're selecting some of the kits that are going in my stash. So I think that'll be quite a bit of fun, and I need to thin it out and create a bit of space. So all good. So over the next couple of weeks, that's the plan. It might take a bit longer than that. It depends. There's always the unplanned stuff that comes up, isn't there? So we'll see, but that's the plan. Anyway, that covers everything that's going on right now. Thank you for looking in. You enjoy your modelling, take care, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.